Welcome back again. This segment, we talk about whether or not it is beneficial to track your macronutrients and your calories when it comes to performance and body composition.
What? The only way to see progress is to track. What are you talking about?
But then on the other hand, tracking is not sustainable, right? That's not the lifestyle we want.
Two camps, yes. I want to live my life, man. I don't want to be living in a book. I want to feel the breeze in my hair. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you when it's beneficial.
All right.
Okay, in my opinion.
All right.
If you've never done it before. That's one.
Very key, because you got to know where you're going to know. You know where you've been to know where you're going, right?
So awareness.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Bring awareness to actually what your metabolism is.
100%.
Right? Something as simple as that. And we talked about this in a previous segment. Check it out if you haven't. But how much protein to consume. If you don't know how much protein you generally consume on a daily basis, you don't know if you need to up it or if you're good.
And that if you're someone who is yo-yo dieting or you're sick and tired of your weight fluctuating, I will say this might not be the method for you, but if it is something where you are tired of your weight fluctuating and not knowing why, the only way to figure that out is to go through a phase of actually looking at the data, looking at the numbers.
You know what's sneaky? Fats. Yeah. You may not realize
those 9 calories per gram, they show up.
It's like you don't even realize that you're taking double the amount of peanut butter.
You know, olive oil, like the olive oil,
right.
coconut oil.
And exactly, that 9 calories per gram is really sneaky. So checking on your fats is really good. That's another important piece. The second one is if you want to significantly change your performance or your body composition, it's often really important to track. Now, what happens in your body is that your body wants to maintain what we call homeostasis. So it's like a very tight line of fluctuation in your body weight or in your energy expenditure. If you haven't experienced this before, if you choose not to eat, your body naturally will not want to move as much. If you choose to eat more, and let's say you go to a buffet and you completely pig out and you eat like upwards of 2,000 calories.
You mean have a ball?
Yeah. What happens is you end up just naturally wanting to fidget and move and walk. So your body is really good at maintaining that tight line. In order to change your body, sometimes you have to push that envelope. So you may feel like you don't want to move because your calories are a bit lower, but you push yourself to move anyways. I don't recommend that you go that far into a deficit anyways.
I was about to say, this is where how extreme of a deficit and your coach is so important, because if that's a certain lifestyle you haven't led for an extended period of time, slashing 700 or anything above 500 calories could be too big a stress on the body. And we haven't even talked about the environmental stresses of work, life, family as well. So it can get very overwhelming very quickly.
And you actually won't know. If you're at 500 or if you're at 700 if you don't check.
And you might even be, some people like having like 1,000 calorie deficit, and you're just like, how are you even up right now? You know what I mean?
So that's another one.
Yeah.
The last one. If you are currently eating a mix of whole foods, processed foods, ultra processed foods, but also eating out at restaurants, you're traveling, you won't really know how much you're in an excess. It's really easy to eat too much.
It's almost like affluency back in the day was like, if you were overweight, it was a sign of affluency, because only a certain amount of people had a certain amount of money to be able to afford to eat and overindulge, when it was harder and more resources were finite.
When food was whole?
Yeah, right? And then now it's, it's kind of the other way, where the most calorie dense, the most highly processed foods that have that bang for their buck, where you're going to be getting a lot of nothing from these foods, are easy and more accessible. So you see it almost almost like the reverse.
Exactly. Now, let's say you do not want to track. You're one of those people like, nah, I don't want to write anything down. I don't want to use my Fitness Pal or
Stop
whatever.
telling me what to do.
There are some ways. You know, as coaches, we learn how to work with all sorts of people.
Yes.
So one, we could use the plate as a pie chart, right?
So dividing our plate in front of us from our macros, thinking about our micronutrients, veggies, protein, carbs, and fats.
Exactly. So you'd want a bigger portion of your plate as veggies and a second largest as protein. And then your third slice would be carbohydrates. And then obviously with the protein comes some fat. And if you're going to put a little salad dressing on your salad, or you're going to use a little gravy or sauce on your carbs, you got to take that into consideration as well.
That could be one of the things that plays into why tracking, and if that doesn't work for you, one of the drawbacks right there, because we talk about how easy it is to go over with that.
Another way is you can use the hand. Okay, so one carbohydrates in your palm, one palm full of carbs, 2 palms full of protein, your thumb as the fats, and then as much veggies as you want, and
go crazy
with that.
Arugula, spinach, lettuce, just basically water. There isn't a lot of micronutrient value, contrary to popular belief, but it's a great starting point if you're not having a lot of veggies as well. I don't want to deter people from...
Leafy greens, however, are really good for your gut.
Yeah.
So that's, there are levels to this, understanding nutrition. You can also use exclusion criteria. Now, I'm not talking about excluding an entire macronutrient. So don't just cut out carbs completely.
Which is what people hear when you hear exclusions like the keto and carnivore diet and these sort of things.
However, you can survive cutting out carbs completely. Cutting out protein completely would be a no-no, and cutting out fats completely also.
Very, very, very troubling.
Fats are really important for your hormones.
Yeah.
Right?
So that concludes our segment. I hope that you guys take some real big notes on this. Let us know if this is actually of value to you guys and what we should cover next. Be sure to follow us on all social platforms at Beyond Reps and Sets. We do our podcast weekly as well, where we are giving you even more information. You get to see our ugly faces more, or hear it at least, on a more day-to-day basis. Thank you guys again for watching us, and we'll hope to see you guys next time.